Hello fellow researchers. This is something new I think I'm going to start doing on behalf of the Truth Seekers Research Network. I think we're going to call this our Anomaly Update. Probably do this a few times a week as news comes out and as it is needed. Not necessarily on a day-to-day basis. So let's jump into it. I've got a lot of stuff to cover here. Don't know how long this video is going to take, but fortunately my YouTube account is enabled me to go beyond my 15-minute limit. So for the anomaly update for April 15th, 2012, let's start with the solar weather. Now we just had our weekly radio show yesterday, and we were speaking about the sun, and there was really no solar activity or sunspots to mention. I got some good sleep last night. Wake up to find solar wind density is basically at zero. Temperatures, ionospheric temperatures are low. Solar wind speeds a little bit above normal. Interplanetary magnetic field looks ambient. Solar wind pressures basically at ambient levels, nothing to speak of there, and looks like our geomagnetic field is stable. However, let's go on over to sunspot activity. This is just within the past 24 hours. Let me go to a different map. This sunspot map was virtually empty yesterday. Now you can see we've got them all over the place. The coronal holes have shrunk. This one's about gone. You got a small, got some small magnetic disruptions in coronal holes, but nothing really to write home about. Right now, I would pay attention to sunspot 1455, and sunspot 1454 seems to be developing and really seething with activity. Here's another look at the same sunspots, and you can see a little bit of the activity. Now again, the only real sunspots to speak of on the solar disk as of yesterday were 1454 and 1455. But all of a sudden we've got all of these other sunspots that have seemed to have developed in the past 24 hours. Back to this picture, you can see more of the seething activity. This sunspot right here, 1454, I would keep your eyes on, as it is somewhat Earth facing. The Earth footprint is more up here along the direction of 1455, which is turning the western limb. We've got activity coming around the northeastern limb, as I'll show you here in a second. In fact, we can look at that now. Let's see. I've got many links up, guys. Here's some of the solar wind ACE data over the past 24 hours. I'm not exactly sure where this is coming from. There's really not a coronal hole facing us. I'll have to look to see if there were any minor CMEs or solar flares that were incoming. Let me see, I've got two browser windows open. Let me see if I have the solar activity on another screen. Yes, I do. Sorry about that. Let me replay this video. Here's your solar activity coming off the eastern limb. It should be coming around, and that sunspot will be labeled in the next day or so. I'll replay that once more. don't think the sunspot is numbered yet. Another thing of interest, NICT server is still down. This data is still from April 2nd. There have been no updates since April 2nd, and for the most part the NICT server is down. Get rid of that link. I'll get back to my other browser. Let's see, this is what I wanted to show you. This is the ISWA real-time magnetopause simulation. Now I'm not sure where we're getting this solar activity from. I'm going to investigate that a little bit more, but we seem to have some compression on the magnetosphere. But of interest here is, I just tried to update this and there is no data beyond, let's see, me fast forward this. The data stops at about midnight UTC time on the 15th. So since midnight UTC, we've had no new updates on the ISWA signets. Okay, we're looking at solar system scope. Today's April 15th, so we have reached our long-awaited rare alignment and conjunction with Saturn, the Earth, and the Sun, as I'll show you here. Saturn is also in opposition with this alignment. You know, we've seen a lot of volcanism, we've seen a lot of major earthquakes, very violent weather around the world, especially in the US. Over 120 tornadoes yesterday, and it's supposed to be another rough afternoon today. I'll swing the scope around, as you can see down here, April 15th, 2012. And let's swing around here. You see Earth and the Sun are lined up. And right behind Earth, we have Saturn. Let's get to a Sun perspective, and well, we'll go out to Saturn. Let's turn around and look back. There you can see the alignment perfectly. Saturn, Earth, Sun, Saturn in opposition with the three aligned. If I'm not mistaken, this only happens every 100 so years. I think it's 111 years, but don't quote me on that. Looking at this from another view, I use this stereo A and B orbital diagram to vector and figure out positions of the planets and things like that. But we can zoom out here. I've centered on the Earth. There's stereo A, stereo B's over here, Sun's in the middle. If we zoom out, there is Saturn in opposition to the Sun, in alignment with the Sun, the Earth, and Saturn. This may or may not be the reason for all the seismic activity, but I would keep your eyes open for more earthquakes, folks. Today and probably through the 16th and the 17th. Speaking about these tornadoes, just due to copyright, I will not play this entire video. This is from Mr. Comet Watch. He does an excellent job at keeping you up to date on severe storms, solar activity, and he's been also covering the Total gas leak, which has been totally blacked out in the mainstream, and I will also get to that in a second. But folks, I'm not much of a HAARP conspiracy person, I've studied HAARP for a long time, but there's been some coincidental data that has been popping up. First of all, this site right here, HAARP Status Joint Network Magnitude Map. This was up earlier, and we were looking at it. Yesterday and today, there was major HAARP activity directly centered over the central U.S. and over the areas of California where they've been having severe rainfall, record floods, and then a little bit farther east of California there's actually a winter weather warning or advisory, which I found kind of strange, being that we're fixing to go into May. Well, this site is now down. It has not. I can try to update it one more time. I tried to bring this up 2 hours ago. Let me try one more time. The HAARP Status Joint Network and Magnitude Map is still down. However, I managed to grab some screenshots earlier. This was 2.5 hours ago. The blue dots are instrument locations located around the country. This shows the HAARP activity. Now, like I said, I'm not a big HAARP conspiracy theorist, but you have to wonder. There's two HAARP stations in Alaska, and there's one over in Russia, but it's been reported that there are hundreds of these stations, which are millions of watts, if not, a gigawatt transmitter. Very low frequency, so you have to wonder, why do they need all these gigawatt low frequency transmitting stations around the globe? But as you can see, right where we're having all of our severe weather, you have a lot of HAARP activity. Over here in California, where they're having torrential rainfalls, a little bit farther east where they're having extreme winter weather advisories. And yesterday we had over 120 tornadoes in the central U.S., and they're expecting a similar outbreak today. There's a magnitude map for this. I may put this in PDF format and put it on our website, www.planetxresearch.com or planetxresearch.org, because I don't know when this site will come back up. But they have a magnitude map down here, and we are up into the magnitude 10 range. It's color coded: green, yellow, orange, red. Of course, red being the worst. It says here, red M10 associated with tornado outbreaks. This can also be strong hurricanes and blizzards. M6 through M9, significant changes expected. And then it gets less significant as you get into the yellow and the green. But once more, there is the there's the HAARP magnitude map from about 2.5 hours ago. Here's the HAARP magnometer. This was April 14th, yesterday. I pay more attention to the BZ chart. You can think of this sort of as they show 3 plots. BX, you can think of that as left and right, east and west directed. BY is more north-south. These are 2-dimensional. And then BZ gives you your depth, your up and down, your 3-dimensional component. So looking at BZ, starting in the afternoon yesterday, from 0 Hertz to 5, all the way up the spectrum to 5 Hertz, you can see there was heavy activity up into the orange and the red and the yellows, maybe some specks of white. So that does coincide with what we're seeing right here on the magnitude chart. And that was yesterday. Let's look at the latest 36 hours. Here's April 15th, well 14th through the current time. Again, there's your BX, BY. I'm more interested in the BZ. It looks like they stopped the heavy bombardment at around 0200 hours UTC, but as you can see, there's still full spectrum broadcast, pretty intense signals. And I want to go back to, let me bring some images up here. Folks, this was back on March the 7th. If you remember, back on March 7th, we also had a large outbreak of tornadoes. And here is the HAARP magnitude readings from March 7th. And as you can see, the same area is lit up in magnitude 7 through magnitude 9. And here is the radar. Here was the activity that we were seeing on March 7th. Zoom in on this a little bit. You can see all the, again, this was the same day we had the severe tornado outbreaks in the central US on March 7th. Let me back up 1 minute and let's compare that one more time with the HAARP magnitude readings from March 7th. Again, here's your storm systems. Looks like you got hail and very high cloud tops here where it's blue and white. And again, here's your HAARP activity from the same day. I've got some more news for you. I'd like to touch on the Total gas leak that Mr. Comet Watch has been covering for weeks. So we'll get to that next. Going back to some of the solar anomalies that we've seen over the past day or so, I've got so many browser tabs open. I had to break this video up in a few parts. But this was sent to me by a fellow researcher. Some mysterious anomalies are showing up on stereo and Soho. This is from 0800 UTC today on the 15th. What is strange is this right here. If you can see where my mouse is at, that does not appear to be a lens flare. We're not really sure what this is right here. And you can see a CME going off in the background. And I'll include these full res images at the end of the video, along with other images from this entire video. This is from March 12th. The sun is on the right side, folks. This is Mercury and Venus. This does not look to be a CCD or a camera glitch. This looks like some kind of incoming particle or ejecta. It doesn't look like it's going the other way towards the Earth. It looks like it's going towards the sun. So that's what is interesting and curious in this photo. I've got some other photos queued up. Here it is again in a stereo A HI1 filter. Same time, 412. A little bit different timestamp. This is at 1330 UTC. But you can see the, I don't know if this is a shower of small comets, small asteroids, some sort of ejecta or other particles, but it clearly seems to be going towards the sun. Again, here's Venus. Actually, there's some sort of reflection out here that totally blocks the planet Mercury. You can see a small CME or a flare coming off the sun right here. But what is curious is all of these anomalies, whatever they may be, going towards the sun. I think the next frame shows it in a little bit more detail. Again, here's Venus. What's curious here is you've got this blacked out area, which again, this does not appear to be a problem with the imager because it's not totally blacked out. You can see some of this red fuzz right here in this black area. But why this part of space is seems to be void of ejecta, I don't know. Seems to be a flare or a CME here. Sun corona ejecta right here. Looks like this is really lighting Venus up. Perhaps a hot flow anomaly. Who knows? But again, in this is also at 1330 UTC. Actually, this is 2 minutes before the last. Let's see. This last image was at 1329 and 1 second. Stereo A H1 filter. Let's see. I wonder if they caught two different shots at the same timestamp. That's curious. There's the same image in a different filter. But next, let's get on to this gas leak. This is important news, guys. These gas leaks are more common than they would like to admit. This is a global map showing some of the natural gas platforms around the globe and currently how much they are leaking. 16.7%, 6% up here in Canada. The North Sea is they're saying that's an 18% leak. You can see the hazard signs. This is how many wells are in the area. 45% leaking down here off the Gulf of Mexico. 6,650 natural gas wells. 200,000 wells up here off the coast of looks like off the coast of Alaska, Washington, Oregon. Down here in Australia, 26 wells, 44% leakage. Globally, we have a 19% leak. But more specifically, let's get on to the Norway Sea, Total, the French-owned Total platform. And let's examine this, as there is a enormous media blackout on this. And this could be a situation that is as dire or more dire than the BP Gulf oil spill. Okay, back to our North Sea Total North Sea gas leak. I will provide all of these article links. It's very hard to find any information on this gas leak. It's a very dire situation. I have seen nothing on any local news or national news media outlets. I've also not seen it on any news sources like RT, BBC, Al Jazeera. Nobody is covering this, guys. I'll read a little bit of this article. Let's see some of the facts. They're starting to compare this to BP's handling of the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico nearly 2 years ago. This gas leak was first detected on March 25th. It may have begun before that. Pouring out 7 million cubic feet of natural gas each day as of the 25th. Let's see what else they have to say in this article. And of course, Total is trying to minimize the situation as expected. Anyway, this article will be in the description box. Here's another article from Greenpeace. I'll include a link to this video in this article. I'm reluctant to play this just for copyright reasons. This is their material. Next article, we just seen this graph a second ago, but here's some more links and an article information about this leak, and here's another video. This is from the UK, the Telegraph. 238 workers on the rig had to evacuate immediately. The sea looked as if it was boiling and bubbling from beneath. Actually, you can see it in the photo right here. This gas is more dense than air, so it tends to settle into low-lying areas. They say that the amount of gas in the air is dispersing quickly. Well, I would kind of expect that. Again, I think they're just trying to provide some sort of damage control on the situation. Well, of course, this gas is not going to be probably very dense in the air because it's heavier than air. It's going to sink. It is still combustible in the water. It settles into low-lying areas and pools. The gas is ignitable and will combust as low as 260 degrees Celsius. Now, to give you an idea how low that is for a combustion temperature, the tip of a cigarette burns at about 700 degrees Celsius. They cannot even fly helicopters onto this platform because any sort of spark of any kind, ignition source, will send this rig up into a fireball. The core crew consisted of 19 people. They initially remained on board but were eventually evacuated in the early hours, I guess, of the 25th as a precautionary measure. This spill is located about 150 miles off the shore of off the shores of Scotland, almost due west, and they expect the winds and the jet stream and the weather patterns to carry this this immense cloud of natural gas and hydrogen sulfide over the UK. And this can be a silent killer. From what I understand, the hydrogen sulfide quickly paralyzes the sense of smell in these amounts, in these very high amounts. So you don't smell it, and you may get a slight smell before it paralyzes your sense of smell. And after that, it becomes a silent killer, and that's why it is so dangerous. Here's another BBC. Let me refresh this. Elgin platform gas leak. They have put an exclusion zone in place, 2 miles in every direction around the rig. There are no vehicles, boats, anything like that allowed. Everybody's to stay away, and there is a no-fly zone for 3 miles in all direction for obvious reasons. Any type of ignition source and you've got an explosion on your hands. At this point, I do not know if Total has a plan of any sort to stop this leak. And finally, I'd like to just let everybody know that you can find all of these stories and more, as far as a ton of research links, research software, science documents and publications, featured YouTube channels, mobile research applications, our news archives, and much more on the Truth Seekers Research Network. That is at www.planetxresearch.com or planetxresearch.org. We have a radio broadcast every Saturday from 10 to 4. You can find the radio station page on either one of these Ustream links on the front page. The only difference is this red link will take you directly to Ustream's site, and we have it embedded on our website. The black link will take you to the embedded page. And I have other YouTube videos that shows all the features of the website and what can be found in greater detail on my YouTube channel. This is where we broadcast live audio and video on Saturdays. All the shows are archived here. This was yesterday's show, for example, but on the Ustream page you can go back and watch any of the prior shows. The shows are also archived in MP3 and YouTube format. This is our show schedule, upcoming show list and topics. A link to the show archives on YouTube. Here are the past shows and past show topics. You can email us here, join the chat room here. The next page on the TSRN website is our show archives. Here are all of our past shows in MP3 format and on YouTube. Here's the show dates again, and the show topics and their archive links. We have also created a new section on the site for our recent research, mainly concerning the March 13th magnetopause reversal. The evidence shows more and more that this is most likely not a glitch in the data as we were first told, but was a real event. We are still investigating this, and it seems to have more and more to do with not only gamma ray bursts and maybe the events around 2012, but superwave theory and other phenomenon like that. On this, anywhere on our site where you see the 2012 event link, you can come to this section of the site. We have our Pal Talk chat room. This is where we do our very intense research. We have a sister room that is called Truth Seekers Research. It is a separate room. It's more of a general research room. This embedded, this is Pal Talk. This is our Pal Talk chat room embedded on the website. So if you don't have Pal Talk, you can sign up for a username and a password and join us right here on the website. You can use your webcam and your mic and text. If the room is locked, which it sometimes is, you can just get a hold of me or Timothy Paul, and we will be happy to give you your library card, as we call it. We just keep it locked so that we don't have a lot of trolls, and we have only serious researchers that come to the room. On the very first, on the home page of the 2012 event site, this gives you an overview of what we're researching and why, the list of our research members, and if you're interested in becoming part of the research group, we'd love to have you. All of the data that we have collected, science publications, historical data and plots, graphs, just a ton of data is under this section. Plots and graphs, scientific publications, and then miscellaneous other relevant data. Links and resources are on the next page. And you can go through these, and we've got an intense multimedia page with MP3 audio, videos, and images. Very interactive. Right here you can go through the MP3 archive on this MP3 player. You can play the videos right here on this little player that's embedded, or you can go full screen, and our image galleries down here. If you're interested in the Mayan calendar, here's a link here that'll bring up a Java applet. If you would like to contribute any links, information, tips, or if you'd like to become a member of the team, You can submit your links here under the contribute button. Just drop a link, description, drop your link. If you want to let us know who you are or your nickname, that's optional, and then submit it. We've embedded TimeWave 0, but the site, the parent site seems to be down, but you can download the Java applet by clicking right here on TimeWave 0. Anybody who's interested in that. And last but not least, back to the home page of planetxresearch.com. We've added more mobile apps, free research apps. All you need is your mobile device and your barcode scanner. You scan the QR barcodes, it'll take you right to the Google Play or the Android store to download those apps. Going back to our home page. We update this several times a day, so the latest news will be on the front page, and as it moves off the front page, it goes to the news archives. But something else that's new is we've put up a virtual solar observatory. This is like a, I consider this like a dashboard to get quick information on the sun, see if there's anything going on. Like right now, everything's, we have some active solar X-rays, but geospace is quiet. This will give you several perspectives from SDO over the past 24 to 36 hours in various filters. If you see something that looks a little bit abnormal, there's a ton of solar links down here where you can go to Delta 2012's very intuitive solar Earth Space Monitor website, which is packed full of plots and solar information. But that concludes this video. More anonymous, or I should say anomaly updates, I'm sorry. More anomaly updates as they become available. Everybody take care, and take care of one another. Peace.